Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Six with Ian and Thomas.
Hi, everybody.
This episode is going to be the preview for the 2018-19 season. I'm extremely excited because the day of recording this, English Premier League has started. The day that this comes out, all of the games the majority of the games will be being played. And you know, as you know, we primarily cover EPL because that's what we have easy access to. And it's my favorite league because it's so competitive.
Mine too.
I want to start off by saying that I gotta give Liverpool the edge this season. I'm very excited to see what Liverpool can do.
I am too.
They spent, I believe it was like £200 million in the transfer market.
Almost 300 million.
I mean, and they picked up players like, you know, Xherdan Shaqiri, Naby Keita. For dimes. You know, I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, the price tag they got Xherdan Shaqiri for was insane.
Mm-hmm.
We finally decided it was 27 million pounds. Yeah, I mean, and that's ridiculous.
That's a bargain.
I mean, given the fact that, you know, it's huge. I mean, he's coming from Stoke, you know, where he was one of the superstars at Stoke-on-Trent, and you know, but now the fact that he's coming into a side like Liverpool, where he's I think he's gonna really flourish at Anfield, and the fact that they've got him for relatively cheap, you know, considering that some of the price tags that are on some of these players. I'm really excited to see what happens with him, Naby Keita, and of course Mo Salah and Sadio Mane, Bobby Firmino. I'm really excited. We got a new goalkeeper.
Yeah,
you know, I'm part of the family sports group, but you know, with Allison coming in, who's apparently, you know, fitting in really well too. I'm really excited, especially as a Liverpool supporter. I think we're gonna really push the boundaries this season, so I'm excited too.
And as a Chelsea supporter, I'm extremely excited to see what Maurizio Sarri can do. I think he's made he's made a lot of important decisions really late in the transfer window. Picking up Kepa Arrizabalaga, I believe it's something weird like that. But I mean, weeks after Liverpool picked up Alisson for a record fee for a goalkeeper, Chelsea's like, yeah, but we still have more money. And
Hold my point, mate.
And they still broke that. I mean, they went and broke that fee. I mean, weeks after it was made, because they did lose Thibaut Courtois to Real Madrid. As a Chelsea fan, I'm actually kind of happy to see him go, because you could tell he wanted to leave. You don't want a player in the locker room who doesn't want to be there.
Well, I don't know that he didn't want to be at Chelsea. I think he wanted to be at Real. Mm-hmm. You know, I think he had a good season last season with Chelsea.
He had a fantastic World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of helped out his transfer process. You know, I think that's why Chelsea kept holding out. You know, they're like, oh, apparently you guys didn't watch the World Cup. We're not letting him go that cheap. You know. You know, I don't know that he wanted to leave Chelsea. I think he just wanted to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been saying for quite a while that, you know, Madrid has been eating at his heart because he came from Atletico, so you know he used to live in Madrid, and I believe his family still lived there. I believe he has a wife and kid who, you know, still lived in Spain. I mean, wow. He just missed them. But Chelsea was very fortunate to be able to keep one of their main stars in Eden Hazard. And who still could leave. As of recording this, the European transfer market is still open. So English Premier League teams can't buy but they can sell out of England into another European country. So it still might happen. I'm praying it doesn't. Apparently, Maurizio Sarri and the Chelsea staff are readying a £300,000 a week salary for Eden Hazard to keep him on as a blue. Hopefully that's enough.
And we talked about this the other day. You know, when you said that, you know, that they were going to give him £300,000 a week to play. A few years ago, it was a really huge deal that Manchester United wrote a contract for Wayne Rooney for £550,000 a week. And I got to tell you that, in my humble opinion, even as a Liverpool supporter, if you were going to sell me Wayne Rooney for $500,000 or Eden Hazard for $300,000, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For two reasons. One, it's freaking Eden Hazard. And two, there ain't no way in the world I'm paying £500,000 for Wayne Rooney. Ever. Even in his prime, I wouldn't have paid that much money for him.
Yeah.
I know there's United fans out there who are looking at me like I got three heads right now, and that's fine. Because now he's at DC United. He is at the dumping ground of the MLS, which is the dumping ground of the world. So that's your Wayne Rooney in a nutshell. That's your £500,000 a week.
Yeah.
I mean, Eden Hazard for £300,000 a week, bargain. Buy two if you got it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, technically there's three, but I mean with Thorgan and the youngest brother, but this season is gonna be huge. You know, Manchester City's still very strong, but they didn't have a very strong transfer market. They really didn't do anything.
I don't know that they really had to do anything. I mean, I know, you know, you said, well, it's Premier League, you got to do something, and yeah, and I'm not discounting that. I'm not completely shrugging off that opinion, because it may come back and get them. You know, it may come back to bite them in the butt.
Yeah.
You know, that they didn't strengthen even just a little bit. I mean, considering that they are, you know, the giants that they are, but they didn't really need to do anything from that standpoint. I don't think. Everybody's healthy. It seems like everybody's happy. You know, and listen, at the end of last season, I mean, they were straight up humming on all 8 cylinders.
Yes.
I mean, they were a monstrous machine and a literal force to be reckoned with. I don't think anything has changed in that regard. But, you know, like, and just to kind of, you know, reiterate your point, you know, and let you know that I do understand it, given the fact that, you know, other teams have strengthened so much. I mean, look what Liverpool did in the transfer window.
Yeah.
I mean, they spent a boatload of loot. And I think every one of them was a fantastic choice. I mean, even Everton kind of went into the transfer window. Manchester United really didn't do a whole lot. I think their transfer window was kind of slim pickings too. Chelsea did okay, ish. And like I said, that in itself may come back and bite City in the butt, but they're a pretty tough team to start with. So, you know, listen, you know, their first match, you know, the day after this recording, and the day after that is Liverpool's first match. So, and I you know, I can't tell you how absolutely thrilled I am.
Yeah.
The Premier League is back. You know, the World Cup was phenomenal. I really enjoyed that month of soccer. But now that Premier League is back, the world is right again.
Yeah.
So,
moving on out of England, I gotta say the biggest loser for me this transfer window was Real Madrid,
yes.
because they lost one of the best players in the world to have ever graced the pitch, to Juventus.
For a bargain.
For a bargain. It was only like $95 million. Sorry, it was like $103 million, which is like 100 million pounds.
which is like $120 million.
Well, I don't know the exact conversion, but
Well, I mean, that's ballpark. I mean, and that's a crap ton of money.
yeah.
But
I mean,
that's Cristiano Ronaldo.
exactly. In recent times, stars like that have been going for 200 plus million. PSG has paid over 450 million dollars. I think was the close estimate for both Kylian Mbappe and Neymar. I mean that's 220 plus each, and then you get half of that for Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, granted he is getting up there in age. He's 34, I believe now.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean he's still in prime condition. He's still playing at top level. It's insane. To hear that he left the club he's been at for 9 years.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens, especially in Champions League, going forward, because the whole game is changed. So we'll have to see what comes from that. I think another big loser in the transfer market. I mean, we already went over City and United, but Barcelona kind of lost this transfer market as well. They picked up a couple young stars, but they lost a lot of their big names, especially right at the end. They lost Yerry Mina and Andre Gomez to Everton.
Yeah.
Barcelona kind of lost a little bit of ground as well. So La Liga should be interesting. I think Barcelona I think Barcelona has the edge in La Liga this season. I mean, they still have plenty of names on that list, plenty of talent on that list. But it's all what anything can happen, and that's the lovely thing about soccer is you can't really tell what's gonna happen because it can change, with a snap of a finger. So moving on, and we'll kind of go into like predictions. Who you think's gonna do well Champions League?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, we'll start laying some some predictions out on the table and see what's what. I mean, it's really early in the season and it's super exciting to see what's going on with transfer windows and whatnot, and who's strengthening their squad and who didn't. I mean, even Liverpool fans are still kind of upset with Jurgen Klopp because they didn't replace Coutinho yet. I mean, at this point, I think they've done more than replace Coutinho. And listen, Coutinho is one of my boys, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bobby Firmino's still there. Mo Salah is still ripping goals. Sadio Mane, Naby Keita is going to be a fantastic replacement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and with the fact that City didn't really do much, I'll let you start with who you think is. What about the league? Who do you think has got the league? Come next May.
It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a tight race between City and Liverpool. But as of now, just because of the transfer market that they had, I gotta go with Liverpool, because I mean they upgraded their team threefold, with the transfers that they had. So I think as of right now, I'm gonna go with Liverpool. With City as a close second. It's gonna be a tough race between those two.
I think it's going to be a fantastic season between those two teams. If everybody stays healthy and, it's good. I'm going to predict much the same, because I think Liverpool, I think Jurgen Klopp I think he put his game plan in place. I think selling Felipe Coutinho at the beginning of the year kind of threw a little bit of a kink into that machine. But I think Jurgen Klopp kind of ironed out those kinks with some of the selections that he's made, and I think really bolstered the team. And again, like I was saying before, I think Manchester City already has a really tough squad, and I think they're ready to play. I mean, I think they're going to really come out and defend their title. and I hope they do. It makes it that much more fun when Liverpool beats them. So okay, those are your predictions for first and second. So you got City and then Liverpool. Who's going to round out your top five?
I'm gonna go with. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Chelsea.
I'm interested to see what Arsenal can pull out.
I'm gonna go with Chelsea 3. I'm gonna go with.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Tottenham 4, and Arsenal 5.
So no United in the top five.
I don't think they did enough.
I don't think they did enough either, but I think they're going to do better than Arsenal. I think Arsenal still has a bumpy road.
That's true because they still have to. I mean, this is their first season with a brand new manager after 23 years.
22 years, 22, 23 years, yeah.
I mean,
so I think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna throw the biggest roadblock in front of them. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a hiccup. I think there's gonna be some growing pains. I don't know that they did a whole lot during the transfer window either. I'm trying to think: did they sign anybody or did they lose anybody significant? I think they stayed pretty much the same, and I don't think they have a bad squad.
Mm-mm.
I just think the tactics were starting to get a little old, and they just weren't keeping up with it. So yeah, given the fact that they've got a new manager now, I think there's going to be some growing pains. With Manchester United, I think you're probably okay with Chelsea in third. And it might be a really good race between Tottenham and Chelsea because Tottenham didn't do much in the transfer window either.
No.
In fact, they did very little.
Mauricio Pochettino actually came out and said he was very frustrated with the fact that people just kind of almost refused to do dealings with Tottenham. They wouldn't, because nobody wanted to buy anything, nobody wanted to sell anything that they were looking for. So he even came out and said we didn't do anything because I kind of couldn't. It wasn't.
No one was in the market, and interesting. I wonder what the dynamics are there. I mean, is it just they just dislike Tottenham? Is Tottenham really that disliked around the world that nobody even wanted to pick up the phone when they're like, oh, it's Pochettino again? I'm ignoring that call.
So what's your top five?
So let's see. My top five. I'm going to go with Liverpool number one because if everybody stays healthy, it's going to be easy for them. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be a really good battle between them and Manchester City. So I got Liverpool, City. I think Chelsea's probably a pretty good bet for third place. I have to put United in there. United is one of those teams that just always comes up with what's necessary. Even though the headlines are all saying that Jose Mourinho is really frustrated as well, and he's quote unquote preparing for a tough season because of the transfer window. He didn't get to do what he wanted. Apparently, he was looking for 2 or 3 more players to kind of round some stuff out, and he didn't get to make those trades or transfers. But again, Manchester United is always one of those teams that will put up the fight, and they always seem to. They have the reserves. I mean, it's just they have the fortitude. Mm-hmm. So I gotta put them in there, so I got Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Tottenham, United, and I think Arsenal is just going to have too much of a bump right now.
Now, speaking of United, is there still a chance that Paul Pogba could be moving to Barca? That was a rumor that was kind of floating around. There were rumors saying...
I mean, even as we're talking, I'm looking around to see if there's something. But I mean, after he had a press conference, just prior to our recording time, where it says he's always going to do what's necessary, to do his best for Manchester United. Is he gonna go? I don't know. As well as I do, I'm not a United fan. But at the same time, I kind of at this point hate to see him go because, I mean, really, what's that leave them in the midfield? Alexis Sanchez,
And
I don't know. I hope, for their sake, I hope he doesn't go.
you got Alexis Sanchez and Marwan Fellaini.
Who?
Marwan
Is
Fellaini.
he still a thing?
Yeah.
Is he still a thing?
Apparently.
Okay.
Moving on to La Liga, kind of the second biggest league in Europe. I think I'm just gonna go top 3 for La Liga because unfortunately we can't really watch much of it. We follow it as much as we can. I think I follow it probably a little bit more than he does.
Yeah.
Because
that's true.
I follow Barcelona pretty heavily. I'm gonna go with Barca winning again, holding their title. I'm gonna go with Atletico Madrid in second, and Real Madrid in third.
Really.
I think-
Even with the kind of the big hole that they left themselves, you think you'll still be able to pull off third place?
They still have a strong team. It's just not as strong anymore because they've lost the superstar. Because like a lot of
Okay, that's
teams,
fair.
Real Madrid wasn't built around Ronaldo.
That's fair. Okay.
It was built with stars, with good players. I mean, and you've got a goalkeeper like Thibaut Courtois, in the nets. That's going to help you out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Barca still has a definitive lead on, who's going to take La Liga. And I think the fact that Real Madrid lost such a, like you said, kind of a big hole in their team, it's going to be a little bit more
Sure.
difficult this season. But I still think they'll be able to pull off top 3.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't have a whole lot to dispute there. To be straight, because like you said, I don't watch as much La Liga as you do. In fact, it's very rare that I get to see a La Liga match. I follow with the news, and just a shout out to the folks at FOTMob. I and Thomas both we use your app a lot. It's informative, and it's up to the minute. And it's a really easy app. So if you're not using FOTMob and you love this game, you should be using FOTMob.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to FOTMob. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. Thomas and I really appreciate you for sure.
This is not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah. This is I financed every bit of this. So, well, maybe not. Thomas might have bought 1 or 2 things here and there. With my money anyway, but yeah, check out FOTMob. Like I said, if you're not using it, you should be. And it's got just about everything you can think of, even non-league ball. They show up with news and stuff. I don't know who their sources are, but these guys have eyes and ears in every corner of the football world. Mm-hmm. So you will find what you're looking for. Yeah, so I can't argue with you. I can't say that's crazy or you're spot on. I would think I'll bow to your expertise on La Liga and say you're probably okay with that. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll see.
Let's go. We're gonna go to Bundesliga, German league soccer.
Bundesliga. Which is really fun to watch too. If you're not watching Bundesliga, check out USA. And I think some of the ESPN channels play some or some Bundesliga, and it's exciting football too. So
now I'm going to kind of repeat what you said with me on the Liga to you on Bundesliga. He definitely watches a lot more Bundesliga than I do, so I would say he's the expert in this situation within our group.
Within the group I'm the expert, but there's still a lot for me to figure out as far as Bundesliga. I watch as much of it as I can. I do, I DVR a lot of it. But because Bundesliga isn't as big in the States as Premier League is, they don't air a lot of the lower games. When you see a team like Wolfsburg playing, it's because they're playing Borussia Dortmund. Or if you see, Schalke, it's because they're playing Frankfurt. As far as who's probably going to take Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund. It's either going to be Borussia Dortmund or it's going to be Bayern Munich. Those are your top two, and you can flip flop those however you want to. It's probably going to be those two, but you've got fighting teams, like Wolfsburg, who have been known to kill a giant from time to time.
I mean, you've got Wolfsburg, RB Leipzig, Mönchengladbach, Leverkusen.
Don't forget Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, they're always a name that's on somebody's lips too. Even Hertha Berlin and Hanover. You'll hear people talk about them. RB Leipzig, okay, yeah, and Werder Bremen. So I don't get to watch enough of the Bundesliga to say, this team's going to win and this team's going to be second, this team's going to be third. The teams that I'm saying I think probably will win it are the teams that I get to watch because they're the big money teams in the league, and for some reason the networks play those teams week in and week out. Those are the same teams I get to watch. Like I said, the only time I get to see a team, like Werder Bremen or somebody who sits at the bottom of the table is because they're playing Bayer Leverkusen or they're playing Borussia Dortmund or they're playing Bayern Munich. So there's a lot going on. But I'm telling you, if you're not watching Bundesliga, you're missing it. It's not quite as exciting, I don't think, as Premier League for me. It's a different kind of football.
Yeah, it's a different style.
Yeah, it's a different style, but it's still very exciting, and it's fun. I mean, man, just watch football. If you can watch it, watch it. Trust me, you're gonna love it. So,
all right, to round out the top five leagues in Europe, I think Italy's probably an easy pick with Juventus, especially since they've picked up Ronaldo. I mean, that's.
You think just because Ronaldo went there, they're gonna?
No.
I mean, they're a tough team anyway.
Yeah, Juventus has always been a strong team, but I think the fact that they've picked up a world class player like Cristiano Ronaldo is gonna make them even deadlier. You've got Ronaldo, you've got Dybala, you've got Mandzukic. That's a deadly attacking trio up top. I think Juventus has the Italian leagues pretty sealed up. And France with Ligue 1, PSG, and another easy pick.
Ligue 1?
Yeah. Again, another easy pick. It's just, PSG has, they have the money, they have the talent.
Right.
To move away from domestic leagues, who you got winning Champions League? That's always the big question of the year.
It's so early. And the thing with Champions League is, it's the top 4 or top 5 from each league in Europe.
Top 4.
Top 4, yeah. Daggone it, man. I will tell you that I think Liverpool's going to make another really solid run at Champions League. I think, and Real Madrid, given the fact that they don't have Ronaldo, but also the fact that Ronaldo was not single-handedly responsible for their win in Champions League, is not going to be the nail in the coffin, so to speak, that there's no way, that Madrid could win. Listen, you still got Barcelona still out there. You still got, teams like PSG. And Juventus, could definitely poke their head in and say, hey, we got this super guy for, a dirty bargain, and here we are. But I'm really interested to see how far Liverpool can go, especially after, just straight up heartbreak last Champions League go around. I don't think they had a walk in the park. I think they had to fight their way through, and to knock out a team like Manchester City, and then just to kind of squirt it all over with Real Madrid. And you can say what you want about Loris Karius had a concussion or what. I don't care. He's not solely responsible for stopping that stuff. I mean, he's got defenders in front of him. But anyway, I think given the fact that Liverpool shored up their team, I think they're going to make a really good run. Of course, Manchester City's going to be in there. And you got teams like Chelsea coming from the Premier League. You've got the
Chelsea
Bayern
won't
Munich.
be
You've
in
got
it.
Borussia Dortmund. That's right. Chelsea does not have Champions League, so you will not see Chelsea in Champions League this season, and that's really kind of sad. I'm upset for them.
I'm extremely upset by that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I can imagine. Think about what Liverpool supporters have gone through in the last couple of years, where they were so close and so far away. But then you've got Bayern Munich, and you've got Borussia Dortmund, and you've got the Barcelona and Real Madrid, and these and listen, man, and for as far as Champions League, I got nothing. It's way too early.
I'm gonna agree with you on that.
Let's let the season go a little bit and see who's going where in their domestic leagues, and I think we'll be able to talk a little bit more about it in a couple of months.
I think once knockout rounds start, we'll be able to kind of start piecing things together.
Yeah, I don't even think they have a group table set yet.
Yeah, I don't think they've done the draw. I think
there's no draw yet.
I think with that's our season preview. Before we close this out, I want to give a quick shout out to all of you guys who have gone to our merch shop and bought our this design. In the past month and a half, we've raised a total of $36. It's not much, but we don't make much per shirt, and that will be donated to my stepmother and Ian's wife to help with her breast cancer treatments. Again, I just wanted to thank you guys for that.
Thank you guys. It really means a lot.
So, I think with that, we are ready to close out the episode.
All right. Shout out to you guys again for checking us out. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to win Premier League? Who's going to win? The domestic leagues around the world. What are your thoughts on Champions League? Even though the group stage isn't set, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the transfer windows? Send us a message, leave us a comment. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, click the little bell so you get the notifications. As far as the t-shirt shop, if you haven't done that yet, please go to the t-shirt shop. All those links will be in the bio there. Click on those. Thomas and his friend Owen worked pretty hard to get that stuff put together. So thanks to Thomas and thanks to Owen. Special thanks to Thomas for doing the editing and production of our show on a weekly basis. I don't know anything about it. So Thomas takes care of all that. Super cool shout out to our buddy Macrophonic MC, who allows us to use his music for the intro and the outro. Super talented artist. Check out Macrophonic MC. You'll find links there. Click on those. Check him out. Show him some love.
I believe he's got a new album coming out soon as well. So
I know he's just finishing up a new video that he's super excited about. I haven't heard anything other than the fact that he is like crazy stoked on this thing. So we'll keep an eye out for that. But check it out. And he may have a new album coming out. I don't know. Been about a week or so since I've talked to him. Thanks, guys, for checking us out. Next week, we'll have Match Day 1 Premier League review for you. So leave us comments, leave us a message, tell us how we're doing, tell them what you want, tell us what you don't want. Check it out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Dear Mr. A&R, we all struggling artists. Realize the world is cold, but we came here to spark it. Swimming little guppies in a sea full of sharks. It's gonna take a miracle to not end up hard.